This is CNN Breaking News.
We start with the late breaking news tonight. Sean Diddy Combs has now been arrested. CNN is learning he was taken into custody by federal agents at a Manhattan hotel tonight. Now, it's unclear what the specific charges are against him or what they may be, but he has been the subject of a federal investigation into sex trafficking for months, which of course led to a high-profile search of his homes in LA and also in Miami. He's also been facing multiple civil lawsuits, 9 directly accusing him of sexual assault. One was from his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, who he settled with in November. Now, back in May, federal investigators were preparing to bring some of his accusers before a federal grand jury for testimony. Diddy's lawyers say the rapper moved to New York last week in anticipation of being charged and said in a statement, quote, "We are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office." I want to bring in John Miller, CNN Chief Law Enforcement and Intelligence Analyst, and Neama Rahmani, a former federal prosecutor and president and co-founder of West Coast Trial Lawyers. What do you expect, Neama, about those charges that might be forthcoming? Are they
Laura,
the right charges? Are they expansive?
Laura, I do expect a RICO indictment, and we're going to see a criminal enterprise. And we know that it doesn't have to necessarily be the mob or the cartel or a street gang, but any informal association of people. So I expect to see Diddy, maybe some of his associates charged. And those RICO predicate acts, those racketeering acts, I expect those to be sex trafficking, drug trafficking, and maybe even gun charges. And some of those carry some pretty significant sentences up to life in prison, and including mandatory minimum sentences of 10 years or more in federal prison.
Neama, when you look at all the landscape of this, from the raids till now, and of course the timing of that till now, we've been showing a lot of pictures of Cassie Ventura, who had a civil suit that had been settled with the legal team prior to this. There are intimations and thoughts that this is all some part of a connected notion and indictment, although we don't know how the details. But how will this particular raid fit into the investigation and the indictment?
Well, Laura, you and I talked in March when Diddy's Miami and Los Angeles homes were raided. And at the time, typically in most federal cases, an arrest happens shortly after the raid. But that didn't happen here. We thought, and I thought at the time, that prosecutors just wanted to get the video that was likely in those homes. Because at least according to the allegations, if you believe Cassie and others, Diddy videotaped many of these sex acts. And reportedly, he had cameras throughout his home. Some of them were hidden. But it took months, 6 months, for Diddy to be arrested and this indictment to be unsealed tomorrow. So the question is, what took so long? And I think prosecutors in New York were concerned that some of these victims, they might go sideways. They may take civil settlements. They may be bought off. Maybe they're intimidated by Diddy. So I think we're going to see a lot of grand jury testimony in this case where victims have come forward. They've testified under penalty of perjury before the grand jury. Because we know the grand jury has two purposes. Like Joey said, a grand jury can indict, but a grand jury can investigate. And by putting those witnesses before the grand jury, now prosecutors have what they think is a bulletproof case. Because let's be honest here, there's no deal that's going to be offered to Diddy, certainly not one he's going to accept, and nor would he take one. He's beaten state charges before there in New York. He essentially has unlimited money. This is a case that's going to go to trial, so prosecutors want to be ready for it.
Well, we will see how this all unfolds. Grand jury testimony being revealed at this juncture would be very rare, but certainly the allegations that would support what they believe to be the appropriate charges, we may very well see tomorrow that could have a great deal of information and get at the heart of this matter. Gentlemen, tomorrow will be a very important day. This is significant, even if it was expected. Now an arrest officially made. Thank you all.